came back this Sunday, folks. Hope everybody's doing well. I'm going to be doing a part 2 on Atlantis, Lost City of Atlantis, and basically a follow-up on some of these giants and stuff that these Nephilim giants, and how they basically went underground and stuff. They got washed. The flood just basically devastated the island, and they went underground, and some of the artifacts were taken. I'm going to talk about the Vatican just a little bit, because some of the artifacts from the Lost City of Atlantis were taken, obtained, and taken to the Vatican. I want to go into a little bit about the Vatican ties in with Lost City of Atlantis. I'm going to talk also about the Nazi party, the German Nazi tie-ins with the royals a little bit, because it ties into what's going on in the story that I'm going to be presenting to you. From what I've basically just read, some of it are first-hand accounts that I've had, that I've worked with. But I really want to go in also about the crossbreeding of the bloodlines of they had true reptilian creatures that were living, that were O-negative blood types. And I want to go about how the Neanderthal caveman actually interacted with some of the reptilian creatures back in those days. A lot of the cavemen got the parasite in them, the fallen angel, Anunnaki parasite, whatever you want to call it. The Luciferian parasite got into the cavemen, Neanderthal men, and they were basically changed their bloodlines down to they weren't 100% Rh negative. They weren't passing all the dominant traits from the reptiles, but they passed some of it on to the apes. There were monkeys, apes that were running around that were A+ and B+ bloodlines. I'm going to go into how the abominations and what they look like. They're really weird creatures that were roaming around back in this era, and there are all kinds of weird creatures that were going on. But I'm going to go into how it ties in also to the royal family and also the Saudi family that are also reptilian in nature in terms of their bloodlines and stuff. And I'll go into I was talking about the Saudis a little bit and how they tie into, there's so much money. The king, like I said, of Saudi Arabia, and the prince, I was talking about how they tie into all this as well, because they're also running the world with the money. So I'll tie them into what's going on as well. But the video is very, very powerful. The Vatican, like I said again, has taken some of these artifacts, and they're basically down in the St. Petersburg Basilia, and they hide some of these artifacts from Lost City of Atlantis are down there. They're pagan gods artifacts, and I'm going to go into some of the rooms and stuff where they do rituals with some of the artifacts that are very powerful. I mean, like I said, they worship Lucifer there. They worship the morning star traveler. The morning star is what the Lucifer is, and that's what they welcome that. So I'm going to go into that as well. And I also want to cover in this video, which is pretty important, is the 7 hills of Lucifer, and the 7 hills of Jerusalem, and the 7 hills of Rome, and how that had a lot to do with the tie-ins of the rituals and some of the stuff, the artifacts that they recovered in these areas before this disaster happened, before the earthquake came into play and it destroyed everything. I'm going to talk about some of these sacred sites where they took some of the artifacts to the Vatican and stuff, and how what they're doing at the Vatican with some of this stuff, because like I said, they worship Lucifer. They bring in Satan with these these sacrifices they do in the underground at the Vatican. So I'll go how that ties into the Lost City of Atlantis. I also want to tie in also some of the German Nazi stuff that's going on and stuff, and how the German Nazis tie in also to what's going on in the Vatican as well. It's good. This video is going to be really, really powerful. This is just a preview of what I'm going to be doing. And this world, man, like I said, man, is so evil. people don't know how to get along with each other. They have to do violence, and these rituals are sick in a way. But that's the way they communicate. That's the way they believe. Their belief system is. I don't know what's up with them. Definitely something wrong with them. But anyway, let's move on with the lost city Atlantis. I'm going to go and talk a little bit about the underwater bases that have been built on top of Lost City Atlantis right now. The bases are in operation now off of the Mediterranean Sea. I went into some of the United States Air Force has built some facility stuff having to do with it. There's a few other agencies, I'm not going to get into all of them, that have built what we call the Crystal Palace, which is actually over this facility. They've built over on top of alien bases. It's crazy, man. I went into some of the bases that are off of the coast of California. But like I said, it's a vast network as well, connected underground as well as connecting from under the sea, through the bases, through the sea, back tube shuttle, back under the earth, under the sea, back to the land. These tunnels go underground, underwater as well. So I'll go into that. I talked a lot about Morrison, Knudsen, and Rand. I talked a little bit about the tunnel boring machines that they've been using to go through all that rock and to build these underground facilities. Caverns have been down here for so fucking long, and the evolution of these races that have been down in these caverns. I'll go into the long-necked gray, which is actually a descendant of a dinosaur. It's not from another world. It was a cross breed, long neck reptilian type of creature with a long neck like a dinosaur has, that's been down there sighted. And I'm going to go also into the gores, which no one talks anything about them. They're 100% 100% O negative blood in these gores, and they are not from this world, the gores. I'm going to go into the gores and where they're actually from. It's a Draco alligator gore, I call it, because it's Luciferian, and it's underground, and it manifests. It can do a lot of things. It's a very telepathic thing, and it can read your thoughts, your mind, and what you're thinking. They codenamed it the Ugly. It's one of the ugliest fucking things, sort of like what you see in Predator. If you saw Predator, it's crazy, folks, and I'm going to go into that a little bit as well. But on part 2 and everything on this, or part 3 I should say, I'm going to go into the Vatican and the Nazi connection, into the Vatican and the blood sacrifices that they're doing in the Vatican a little bit, and how they believe Lucifer is going to come back, and how they're going to conjure up these fallen angel parasites that are in us, and they're going to bring them, people that have this parasite in them can communicate telepathically through these rituals that they're doing in the Vatican. I want to go into that more on these underground rooms that they have in the Vatican, okay? And they're very, 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 very sacred, and they have all these pagan gods they worship, and there actually is in the bottom of the Vatican, there is a mural of Lucifer, which is the morning traveler, morning star traveler, the morning star, which actually, and they also have a mural of the evening star traveler, good and evil. So I'll go into some of those murals that they have down there, and I also want to go into this huge mausoleum where they do sacred rituals. I'll go into that in part 3 of the Vatican, these mausoleums that are underground. Peace, love, and happiness, folks. I'm going to do them in segments. The next one, the video I'm going to be doing is going to be part 3, covering some of the Earth Chronicles on planet Earth with the Vatican, and what's really down at the Vatican, and what they've taken from Lost City Atlantis to the Vatican. Peace, love, and happiness. Bill signing.